Hi, this is Kurt Plattenberger with RF Cafe, and a couple years ago I did a short write-up and video on this Tesslor R601S radio. I bought it because I was looking for a vintage type radio that actually used vacuum tubes in at least part of its circuitry, and that's what this does. It's one of the few on the market now. It has a fully solid state front end and tuner, but it uses a 6-inch vacuum tube triode preamp, and then there are two of the 6P1 tetrode power amps for each of the stereo channels on the output. So it's pretty nice. It's got what looks like an old-fashioned Bakelite type of a chassis, but it's actually a more modern MDF. It's the medium density fiber wood type product, and according to the company, it goes through a pretty extensive finishing type process, and it is a very nice, smooth, hard, scratch resistant type of a surface. You can also get a walnut, solid walnut type of a chassis if you'd like, but I wanted the more traditional look. So I did a quick look in the manual that they provide too, and it gives some background on Tesslor. It's kind of interesting. The gentleman, his name is Zheng Dujan in China, who developed this. He actually owns a rather large audio electronics company in China, and he's an old-timer that grew up with tube radios just like I did back in my early days, even though transistors had been around for about a decade before I was born. I was born in '58. I think it was '48 that the transistor was invented. But anyway, he wanted also to come up with something modern that he could offer to the people like me that were looking for vintage type equipment that you didn't have to spend a lot of time refinishing and rewiring and troubleshooting and having to put up with some of the inconveniences of the old tube sets. So what's nice about this is, even though I bought it about 2 years ago, in September of 2013, Tesla came out with a modification that added Bluetooth capability to it. So what I used to do is just use the audio, the headset jack output of my computer, and I had just an audio stereo cable running over to here, and it would plug into the auxiliary input in the back. But now with the Bluetooth 3.0 capability, we can stream it wirelessly and get rid of that cable. I'm going to show you real quickly how to get that Bluetooth connection set up. All you need to do is put the selector switch in the auxiliary position. That enables the Bluetooth. That's the position you'd have it in anyway if you had an actual cable running too. So you go to the control panel on your computer. I'm not sure how you would do it if you have a Apple computer. But then you come over to the devices and printer section, add device, and it'll go through and it'll search just like any other Bluetooth device. And there's Tesslor, so I'm going to double click on it. And it's doing a connection process now. Then it's gonna install the necessary drivers, and that won't take very long. You can see that the icon just popped up for the Bluetooth device. And waiting, almost done. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the volume up a little bit here so we'll be able to hear it when it comes on. And I'll start some music. Over here, I've said before that as far as I'm concerned, there hasn't been much new music written or produced since about 1980, so you'll hear by my music selection here that that's pretty much true. Okay, nothing like Don McLean's Miss American Pie for a good sample for testing the Bluetooth. Alright, so I'll come over here now, and you only need to do this for the first time. I'm going to double click on the Bluetooth Tesslor icon. After this, every time you turn the computer on or off for the music, it'll automatically switch over. So, okay, I don't know if you can tell on the video, but the sound switched from the computer over to the Tesslor radio. What I'm going to do now, because I know you don't want to listen to the whole song, I'm just going to turn everything off, and I'm going to open up the back panel of the radio again and let you take a look at what's inside. So let me just turn everything off. just for safety purposes here. Then turn this around. And unlike what you'll find on any modern piece of electronics, you won't see any kind of a placard on the outside that says no user serviceable parts inside, because in fact there are user serviceable parts, and those would be the vacuum tubes, because they don't last forever. They never have, never will. One of the nice things about the way Tesslor has this, because they know that people are going to have to eventually replace the vacuum tubes depending on how often you listen to it, is it's got these slide type things. You just loosen these four corners and they're slide. They're captive, but there is one screw down here in the bottom that you have to take completely out. While we're on the back, I'll go ahead and point out that they provide external antennas both for the AM if you need it, and for the FM too. This has a nice handy F-type screw connector on the back in case you need that as well. Alright, so once you get that loose, you can just pull this off, and you can see that that's the triode preamplifier tube there, and those are each the tetrode power amplifier tubes for the stereo output channels. If you look at the old video, I had pulled the chassis out and the old write-up and done some pictures. I'm not going to replicate that here. But what's new on this one now is there's the Bluetooth board there, Melanie. I don't know if you can zoom in to see that. I'll take some photos of it too for people to see. But it just goes in and it patches into where the auxiliary circuit is, and it switches over automatically. So if I were to then plug my cable back into the left and right auxiliary input channels, it would override the Bluetooth and just run off of the standard wired connection. All right, that's all there is for here. I'll turn this back around. Again, look in the old video. I'll have a link to it on the same page as this new write-up if you want to see what I did before. All right, thank you.